Hello, you're listening to Food Rebels, and I'm your host, AJ Sharp. This is the Food and Drink Show. As you know, we're dedicated to the exciting world of food founders, challenger brands, and people in the industry who are doing really cool and exciting different things. For the next 30 minutes, we'll be providing just some on-air tastings. We'll do a little bit of food and drink entertainment, just really kind of get behind the curtain and see what's going on with the experts we have in the show today. I am joined again by the wonderful Rebecca Willard, who she's a great taste judge. She's a recipe writer. She runs a kind of pop-up kitchen from her at Modern Country Kitchen, which is on Instagram. Have a little look at that. And has written for lots of national magazines, that sort of thing. So welcome back.
Thank you. I'm just going to interrupt you and say it's the Modern Country Kitchen.
Oh, sorry. At the Modern Country Kitchen.
We don't know where you'll go if you go to the other one, but it's not mine.
There's always loads of really cool different tips and ideas, isn't there, on there?
Yeah. And I'm a chef, so it's a lot of recipes. If you like finding your recipes from Instagram and social media.
Recipes and delicious looking food and good ideas for dinner parties, I find.
Yes.
I have a little stalk of you. What have you been making recently that I can steal? Today, we've got some experts in the studio with us, and we're going to be talking about milk alternatives.
Yes.
Do you use milk alternatives?
We personally don't, because we're very lucky to have a very local, high welfare dairy that delivers to us. But I know a growing number of my friends, especially who have children who with intolerances to dairy, are looking for alternatives. And when I do a coffee order, if we're on a shoot, whereas everybody used to drink milk, I find now there's an oat milk or a coconut milk, or can I have a soy? So it's definitely something I've noticed is growing in popularity. Oh,
absolutely. It's, you only need to open the office fridge,
yeah.
In the studio, and there's about 4 different milk varieties. I had exactly that. My daughter has a dairy intolerance. And so she's drunk an alternative milk. And initially we were advised by the NHS to go for something like an almond milk, which at the time there was only really almond milk on the market. That was really one of the first ones that came, almond or soy, and she was allergic to soy. So she had to have almond. And I remember reading this article about how dreadful it was for the environment, all sorts of things. Me think, oh my goodness, what have we done?
Something else to feel guilty about.
Something else to feel guilty about. And now there's obviously a bazillion different milk varieties, from rice to all sorts of things.
Yeah. I have to cook with them quite a lot if I'm doing recipes for vegans or, dairy intolerant and that kind of thing. And it's really nice to have the choice of different milks that work for different things and work in different ways as well. So that's good.
Yeah, they all bring a different flavour characteristic, don't they? I've really noticed that over the years as we've gone through the iterations from almond to we now drink oat a lot, because I've read that it's slightly more sustainable. I don't know, because we might be about to discover that that's actually moved on again.
Yeah.
And all of them bring different flavour characteristics to your kind of pancakes or whatever it is you're making, which I find fascinating. But we've got some really cool guests in the studio today. So welcome to, forgive me if I pronounce this incorrectly, Suhani?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, brilliant. From the Good Pea Company, and your co-founder, Nikki Gog, also from the Good Pea Company. We could call you Sue, you told us, didn't you? Yeah, thank you. Welcome. Who would like to kind of kick us off and describe the company for us? Sue, do you want to start?
Yeah. So basically, the idea came in the first lockdown of 2020. So it was Nikki. We both know each other through our husbands. And we've been friends before that as well. So one night she calls me up and she literally goes through this whole thing about peas or like milks and stuff. And then she's like, do you want to change the world with me? Or do you want to keep on drinking porridge water?
That is the
rest of your life.
Do you want to change the world? Yes, please.
So this happened when I had my second daughter in December 2019. And I was kind of, getting back into the routine of like fitness and everything. Mm-hmm. And then in March, lockdown happened. And then my 3-year-old, my older daughter at that time, was going through like a lactose intolerance phase temporarily. So I was looking for a milk for her that would give her all the nutrition, but at the same time be healthy as well, because she's really fussy. So I was talking to Nikki at that time, and she was going through a similar journey where her husband had got eczema, and, you know, they just found out that his flare-ups were because of dairy. So she was looking for something. They were transitioning to a plant-based diet. So then we started talking about it, and we're like, oh yeah, because she's got 2 daughters and I've got 2 daughters. So we're like, what should we give to the kids that's got the nutrition but the taste as well? Because there's some great tasting milks out there in the market. I mean, the ones that are really healthy don't really have the taste, and the ones that are really tasty don't have the nutrition.
Yeah.
So we're like, people are actually compromising on it. So, like, why don't we come up with something where we can give them both and they don't compromise? I mean, you know, there's like, they can get the best of the nutrition as well as the taste. So then we started researching, and she came up. Yeah, I mean, it was you who came across the Julia Albrecht TED Talk, right?
Yeah, so it was a TED Talk with Julia, I think it's pronounced Julia Albrecht, and I think it was called something like How Peas Will Save the Planet. I thought this is really interesting. And essentially it was just about how peas are so nutritious, so high in protein naturally, but also so sustainable, and so they can be used as alternatives in lots of variations. And we'd seen them in kind of meat alternatives and kind of textured products, but not so much in milk products or liquids. And so we thought, well, actually, coming from Indian heritage, the both of us grew up on kind of lentils, legumes, split peas, but more in dals and curries. And we thought, well, we know that's full of protein. We've grown up on it. Why not make something? If you can milk an almond and you can milk a soybean, why not milk a pea? And that's where it all began, really. And just to add to Sue's point, we also wanted to make sure that we could come up with a milk that was free of oils, because a lot of what you'll see back of pack for many of the plant milks is just full of rapeseed oil or sunflower oils. And as we know now, that's not great for us.
So just to clear that up, because I think when I first read The Good Pico, I'm British, my immediate thought was green peas, garden peas.
No, you're not the only one.
We're not talking
There's
about garden peas.
People, and they actually ask us, like, does it look green?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't look green. It doesn't even taste like mushy peas. It just tastes like milk. And then, when they try it, they're pleasantly surprised by it.
Because it's the yellow split peas rather than garden peas.
It's the yellow split peas, and what we do is we grind them, and then we separate the starch and the fibre out, and we actually extract the pea protein isolate, and then that's what we use in our milk. So you don't get that earthy lentil taste, but you get the nutrition from the protein.
That's really interesting. So is it just pea protein? Do you have to add anything to it?
So we add coconut cream and just water and vitamins, essentially. So we try to keep it as clean as we can, but still get all the nutrition and the nice flavour profile as well.
Fab. And where do the split peas come from?
So ours come from Belgium, and again, we've tried to source them as locally as possible. So peas in the UK, so far, we've not found any that can be used in liquids. They can be used, as I mentioned, textured protein, so meat alternatives. And we could have gone as far as kind of China and Canada. Probably would have been cheaper for us, but we chose Belgium so that we could keep it as pure as possible in terms of the pea protein isolate, and also less miles getting to us. So,
yeah, brilliant. And just because something's imported, people, I think, immediately go, oh, it's been imported, it must be bad for the environment. And actually, that isn't always the case, is it? If you're importing a raw ingredient in large quantity, actually it can be very sustainable, rather than trying to get it from lots of different places across the UK and you've got loads of lorries on the road. You know, there is actually a balance, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. And we always make sure that it's by ship as well, rather than, air freight. So
yeah, that sounds fantastic. Are we allowed to try them?
Yeah, please do.
Can you talk us through the 2 different varieties you've got here? Because one's pink in the packaging and one's got this lovely sort of turquoisey blue packaging.
Yeah, so the pink one's our original flavour. So that one's packed with 34 grams of protein per carton. So that matches cow's milk in terms of protein content. It's actually got 50% more calcium than cow's milk. And then we fortify it with vitamins D, B12 and iodine. So it's really nice. You'll probably taste that it's quite thick. It's got a bit of sweetness to it. But really good for protein shakes, smoothies, over cereal, overnight oats, etc. And then your green one is the barista flavor. So that froths really nicely. It's got a bit more of a neutral taste, so it doesn't change the taste of your tea and coffee, but hopefully it's got still that creamy milkiness.
What is it that makes it whiter as well? Because they're a slightly different colour, aren't they?
They're just slightly more coconut cream in that one and slightly more of the pea in the original.
It's very creamy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got a good mouthfeel to it. I hate that word, but sometimes.
Yeah, but it does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There's a real rich creaminess
Absolutely,
to it, which is unexpected from a pea, to be honest.
And I'm not getting coconut. Do you use specific type of coconut that means that you don't get the coconut flavour? Because obviously that's quite an overpowering thing.
Yeah, it's quite a small amount that we use just to get that creaminess, but we didn't really want it to taste like coconut milk, so it's just very subtle.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And it's got really good levels of protein, which most of these milks don't have protein, do they?
No, you'll get your almond milk has about 1 gram of protein per serving. Oat milk as well, you get up to 2 or 3 grams. So it's quite low. What you would normally get from a dairy product is 8.5 grams per serving, and we wanted to match that. So, we just wanted to make sure that if you can't have dairy or you choose not to, that you still get the nutrients and you're not getting a product that's subpar and just kind of full of oils that kind of tastes like milk. So, that was quite important to us.
So that's 8.5 grams in 100 ml or something?
Per serving, so about 250 ml.
About 250 ml, okay. That's fantastic. And definitely, as a parent who is using alternative milks for my daughter's, her health and her growth and things, the fact that it doesn't have protein always really bothers me.
Yeah.
Because it's one of the things you're looking for as well as all the other kind of vitamins and nutrients and things. This is really fascinating because I haven't seen any other alt milks that have got such high protein levels. Have you?
No, that's something that's normally lacking in them. And it's good because you feel like if you give your kid a glass of it, they're going to be full.
Yeah.
Fullish.
Yeah.
But it's a nice side effect.
That's the feedback that we've had as well, that because of the protein element, it fills you up longer. Even in teas and coffee, you're just fuller for longer. So again, that really helps. And peas have got just so many health benefits, haven't they? From kind of cholesterol and helping with sugars and things like that. So there's just a win-win for us. But AJ, you mentioned as well the sustainability side of things when you were, you had your daughter on almond milk, and that was something that was really important to us. So pea milk's actually up to 74% lower in carbon emissions than dairy, which is huge. And then, even with water usage, peas use 100 times less water than almonds to grow and 25 times less than dairy. So, we just wanted to make sure that we were healthy for the planet as well as for our bodies.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean, for me, I would really like to drink an alt milk more frequently. So I will kind of oscillate like you. There's a local dairy. We get our milk delivered from that dairy. But I also can see that dairy is not necessarily doing my body so many favors as I'm getting older. Particularly, I can see that, I don't digest it as well. And I am genuinely, throwing in far more oat milk or alternatives into my kind of coffee regime, just literally from a health point of view, from a sustainability point of view. And I think it's really fascinating to discover something like this that's completely different, because it's sweet to taste, isn't it, initially, but it's got quite a kind of tart finish on it, which actually is quite cleansing. Really enjoy that.
Yeah, we had quite a few. So when we were making the recipe, we had some feedback about just milk in general. And often, although people like the taste of dairy milk, that aftertaste, that coating that you get on your tongue is not so pleasant. So we tried quite hard to avoid that with our milk. So hopefully you get, like you said, quite a clean feel at the end.
How did you go about coming up with the recipe? Because it seems like it's not just sort of a cake that you make in your kitchen. Like making an alternative milk is quite a process, I imagine.
Yes, it kind of started off in my kitchen actually in 2020, and we were just whipping up recipes. We originally had dates in there for the sweetener, and it was quite costly on a commercial scale, but we started with that, and I would kind of just strain yellow split peas like if you were making almond milk at home or anything else. And then I started giving it to my kids, and then friends and family really liked it. And speaking to Sue, who's going through a similar journey, as she mentioned at the beginning, we thought actually there's something in this. And we realised that there's 2 children in every UK classroom that have allergies, and most of them will be dairy or nuts. So if we could make something in a nut-free factory that was dairy-free, and we're actually free of the top 14 allergens, then that would be pretty inclusive for people. But once we got to that stage, we really needed to work with a food technologist and to get the flavour profile right, along with the kind of nutritionals as well. And so we went from there and kind of commercialised it. So
Fantastic.
That's really cool. So what's it like working with a friend?
So when we started this, we kind of knew each other before, like 2 years before that, before we started, like since 2018, late 2017. So we did know each other, but like I think because we haven't worked with each other, I think it's worked out better in terms of us working together, because we now know, like, because both of us are so different in what we do. It's like our skill sets are completely different. So we kind of complement each other in everything that we do. And that's worked out pretty well for us so far.
So you have different roles in the company then. You're both co-founders.
Yeah.
So Sue, what's your role in the company?
So I look after the marketing and basically any operations that go behind the business, and marketing and finance and like accounts and everything. And then Nikki heads the commercial side of things. So she talks to the clients and any pitching that needs to be done. So everything. So Nikki handles all of that. And then she also looks after the manufacturing side of things as well with a food technologist, or if we are coming up with another recipe or anything, then she'll be heading that.
Brilliant. And so you're doing the recipe development side by the sound of things.
So we both do a little bit of that, but I think main thing is I don't have a creative bone in my body, so Sue kind of heads up all of that, and she does a brilliant job. And I'm more, I've got a finance background and a banking background, so I'm kind of interested in numbers and sales and onboarding new clients. So that's where it's worked out really well, which we didn't know before, did we? Because as friends, I think you don't really talk about what your strengths are in business and work. So we didn't really know, but it worked out well. So.
And we're like, you know what, let's stick to our own strengths and let's just do what we are best at. Yeah, so she's been heading that, the sales and commercial side of things, which I would absolutely be rubbish at it, to be honest. I mean, I'm learning so much from her, and I think you are as well from me. Yeah. But yeah, it's just, it's good.
So Sue, what's your background?
So this is, so I have, I was born and raised in India. I met my husband in India in uni, got married to him, came here I'm here since the last 11 years now, and so I'm a dentist by profession.
Oh, really?
So it's completely
quite similar.
So it's totally like nowhere near what I'm doing right now. So I came here, practiced for a bit, worked for a bit, and then I realized that I want to do something more for the wider community and, you know, like something different as well at the same time. And when she called me up that night, I was like, that's it. I jumped on the gun. I was like, that's it. I'm doing this because this sounds so exciting and completely different, which would take me out of my comfort zone. And then, I mean, the rest is history, I guess.
And it was Sue's idea to get the 50% of calcium in there for the teeth.
Yeah, well, I was going to say.
Yeah, it was.
Quite useful.
Yeah, I was like, I need to have my dentistry side to it as well, so make sure that people are getting the right calcium.
That's fantastic. And so at the moment you've got the 2 different varieties. Have you got kind of future plans? Are you going to build out? Are you going to go milkshakes? What's the plan for the future?
Yeah, we're thinking about what we want to do next. And I think we want to be quite strategic in what we want to do. I think our range is very simple at the moment, and we quite like that. I think there's sometimes you get ranges and there's so many, you don't know what to use for what. And so we quite like the idea of keeping it quite small. We probably will add a little bit more, maybe like an unsweetened range or something a bit more specific to kids. And then we'll go from there. Yeah,
it's great. But it's completely self-explanatory, isn't it? Original, barista, that's the lovely creamy one for your coffees and your kind of porridges and things, and originals for, I guess, your tea.
Yeah.
And the flavour's so clean, isn't it? That I feel like you can
yeah.
put it in your tea and it wouldn't ruin it.
Or over cereal and you wouldn't notice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Where can people find you?
So we sell on our website. We're on Amazon. We're in Selfridges, and then we're kind of dotted around in about 30 independent health stores around the country. So all our stockists are on our website as well. So
That's fantastic. So in terms of the actual process, you said you started in your kitchen and you were making it for friends and family and everyone. You don't still make it like in your kitchen, do you?
No.
What are you doing now?
So once we decided to commercialise it, we worked with a food technologist, and then we kind of work with a manufacturer in Somerset now, actually, who is BRC AA rated and is free of nuts on site. So so that's who we work with now. We've got really good relationship with them, and hopefully we'll be able to scale quite quickly.
That's really exciting. And is it still the two of you with your third party manufacturer, or is it?
So 2 of us full time, and then we have kind of additional team members that we have working just on call with us, and as and when we need it. We're trying to keep it quite in house at the moment, but I think soon we'll probably have to recruit, won't we?
Yeah.
So,
That's what I hear with a lot of new businesses, that they sort of want to do everything because you want to guarantee the quality, and then you start getting successful and thinking, oh, we're going to have to bring someone else in.
Yeah, absolutely. It does get to that stage, and where you think like, oh my God, there's like too much to do in too less of time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you start to think, I'm okay with it being 80% fine. I'm okay with it. I'm going to have to just let go of that last 20% perfection, because otherwise I'm going to pile in.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's fantastic. And then your two, so you said you met through your two husbands. So do they get involved in the business, or are they just proudly watching from the sideline?
They do a lot of the heavy lifting when we go to trade shows.
They're literally heavy lifting.
I call him chief pallet mover, because he's always lifting like pallets and like lifting stock off the pallets and then moving it for us for every time we have like a trade show or event or anything like that. So, but they do help quite a lot.
Are they taste testers as well?
Oh yeah,
Get involved with that?
Absolutely.
Of course, always.
And the kids, I assume.
Oh yeah. I mean, my daughters love it. Like, the original, she has it every morning in her breakfast and anything. She always loves it. And now she even tells her friends, "Oh, my mummy's got a pea milk business. Like you should try her milk." And I'm like,
Free marketing.
Free marketing, exactly.
Amazing.
That's the ultimate form of PR, is a personalised recommendation.
The number of pictures of milk moustaches we've got of them as well.
God, yeah.
That's excellent. I think there's something really cool, especially where you've got female entrepreneurs running a business where they're, your kids literally watching you do all the things that, certainly my generation, it wasn't the same back then. And I find it really empowering to just see, my daughter will march into my office and sit in my chair and be like, ha ha. It's like,
do you want to believe I've got a 7-year-old, and she actually told me once when I was just, because she sees me every day sitting on the laptop and working. She's like, "Mummy, when you grow old, can I take over the pea milk business?" I'm like, where is this coming from? So she's already getting all of that into her head from now on. She's like, "Can I take over the pea milk business?" Like, you have to ask Auntie Nikki for that. But yeah, it's quite good to see them, and they love it. And every time we have an event show or something, like especially in London, she'll come along and she'll actually want to talk to, like, because we're sampling there, so she'll actually want to come and talk to customers, and she knows what to say as well. Oh, this one's got 34 grams of protein, this one's got that. But yeah, she loves it.
That's amazing, because no one can say no to a child.
So. That's true.
Yeah, we should use them more.
Yeah.
I just think it's really cool, isn't it, when you've got kids kind of seeing that stuff happening and they're learning.
Yeah, it's such a good example for them to see that work can enthuse you, and especially if you've grown a business from the ground up. That I think to know that work is something to be excited about is a really nice thing for kids to see.
Oh, definitely. I used to go into my father's business when I was, it's a family business, but I was probably 5 or 6. And I used to get jobs like, you need to stuff these brochures into these envelopes. And then when I got a little bit older, you can put it through the franking machine. If anyone listening remembers
the laminating machine, that was the best.
The stationery cupboard was so heaven, absolute heaven. Oh, it's it's really cool. So what's coming on the future then for you guys? Where, so what you're stocked in, where did you say?
So Selfridges, Amazon, off our own website, and then 30 kind of independent health stores. But we're doing quite a lot of work with food service at the moment, and that's becoming quite successful for us. We're and it's interesting you're giving feedback as well today, Rebecca, because chefs are really loving our products, and we've got quite a sharp intake of those at the moment, haven't we?
Yeah.
So just really enjoying cooking with them, using them in recipes and creating like allergen-free or vegan dishes.
It's a constant struggle.
Yeah.
Especially with baking, to find dairy alternatives that behave like dairy and don't taste rubbish. To be frank.
Yeah, exactly.
So so is that something that's in the forefront of your mind when you're developing products? Is how can you cook with them as well?
We do want them to be complete milk replacements and not just for drinks. And so we're always thinking about that, because this is all we use in our households, and we do a lot of cooking and baking. So we've got to work with all of that. So we're doing quite a lot of work with universities as well at the moment. So King's College in London has replaced all of their dairy with our milks in all of their recipes across campus.
Wow.
And we're doing some great work with Royal Holloway, who we just launched with last week. We've kind of got like a signature mocha drink out with them. And so we're just trying to do more and more like that to spread the word, help organisations with their sustainability goals, but also make sure that we're getting nutrition into young people and as little oil as possible.
Brilliant. Yeah, it's that understanding, isn't it? That there's the kind of education part as well as it. So when you say you're going into kind of food service, is it kind of coffee shops? Is it following the Oatly well-trodden path? Because they launched, didn't they, straight into coffee shops, and that's how they really kind of got their foothold as being such a massive brand today.
Yeah, so we're having some conversations at the moment with some coffee shops. I can't say too much at the moment, but watch this space. And then kind of more with catering companies and people that are providing offices with food and drinks, and investment firms, law firms. We're doing quite a little bit of work there as well. So we've kind of got fingers in all pies at the moment, but yeah, no, it's all positive feedback. So
sounds super, super busy. Thank you so much, guys, for coming in. As ever, I always feel like we get to the end of the show and I think, we haven't I could chat forever.
No, thank you, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you so
really
much for coming in, both of you. And thanks to you as well, Rebecca.
Pleasure.
Thanks for being here again. Our fabulous guests, Suhari and Nikki. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
You've been listening to Food Rebels. We broadcast live at 5 every Wednesday through radio shows and stations around the UK and further afield, as well as podcasting apps, all the usual ones, iTunes, Spotify, Audible, whatever one you've got on your phone. If you're interested to appear on the show, please do get in touch on hello@foodrebels.co.uk, as we'd love to hear from you, especially if you've got a rebellious story to tell us.